The inherent right to work is one of the elemental privileges of a free people. Endowed, as our nation is, with abundant physical resources, and inspired as it should be with the high purpose to make those resources and opportunities available for the enjoyment of all. We approach this problem of reemployment with the real hope of finding a better answer than we have now.
Thanks for tuning in to TV20's Weekly News Wrap-Up. I'm Leah Haslage. A viewing and tribute ceremony for former Congressman Louis Stokes was held at Cleveland City Hall. Thousands came to pay respect to the man that impacted their lives. Here's TV20 reporter Dan Monroe with more.
They don't realize what they've lost in this man. They really don't realize what we have lost.
On August 18th, Congressman Louis Stokes passed away at the age of 90. On August 24th, his body laid in state in the rotunda of Cleveland City Hall for nearly 10 hours. During that time, thousands of people visited to pay their final respects to the man many people call a champion of the people.
Somebody who came from the inner city, out the way homes, but had a history of family involvement from as a young childhood for myself, being that most of us who have lived here for over 50 or 60 years had many of our starts right down in what they call down the way area. So he represents, those who made the best and made it to the top, So it's very important role model, a very important example, and a very important leader and a very important icon, and his legacy will live long after his passing.
One thing I like about Stokes, he wasn't white people, black people, orange people, green people. He was people. He cared about children, the elderly, and the city of Cleveland.
He is an innovator. He was pretty much an emancipator. He was one that was humble, that had a soft soul, one that did not let his high recognition move him one way or the other. He was just a straight shooter all the way. He was a great man.
Well, as a young elected official, it's important to know that there are other African-American people that I can look at as role models as I continue to serve my community, and Congressman Stokes is one of those people. He was well loved and revered by all of his constituents here in Cleveland, throughout Northeast Ohio, the state, and probably even the world.
A memorial service was then held for the congressman, where friends, colleagues, and family members recalled fond memories of the man who loved Cleveland.
TV20 sends our condolences to the family and friends of Mr. Stokes. After an internal investigation within the Cleveland Fire Department, it was determined that various policies on secondary employment were violated by numerous firefighters. Fire Chief Patrick Kelly held a press conference on the investigation.
In February of this year, we received information from a member of the media regarding some firefighters in a division who were engaging in a secondary employment that allegedly had some improper practices. So when we received that information, it was forwarded over to our Department of Public Safety Integrity Control Office, and they conducted an investigation. And what they found is that 35 firefighters have violated some rules, regulations, policies in the division surrounding our secondary employment. Our policy is twofold, basically. It requires, one, that you request permission to engage, and in that request for permission, you're required to basically submit an application, which company you want to work for, and also you need to provide proof of workers' compensation. And that the purpose of that would be to, one, ensure that they're not improperly discrediting the division or the city by what their occupation is, and two, having that workers' compensation protects themselves and the city in case they would get injured. And they're also agreeing to not working more than an average of 20 hours a week. There's no criminality here. This is all administrative. And as chief, my primary focus is on safety. And I just want to ensure that, you know, the firefighters are safe, the citizens are safe, and that those firefighters who show up for duty are fit for duty. Disciplinary proceedings will, each firefighter who is charged will be entitled to their due process. They'll receive a hearing in this office, and depending on the circumstances brought forward, we'll make a determination. But it would, in my estimation, it could range from a warning or potentially even a dismissal to suspension without pay. And this is about holding people accountable who have violated our rules, regulations, and policies. And our primary focus is on safety. I do want to add, though, that the vast majority of Cleveland firefighters do an outstanding job of protecting this community. They're professionals, and the number here we're talking is approximately 4% of our workforce. The other 96%, and I'm not saying these 4% are bad employees. They just engaged in a practice that were found to be in violation of our policy. And I can't pick and choose what policies I'm going to enforce and what policies I'm not going to enforce. This was brought to me, and I needed to take some action just to send a message that you need to stay in your lane.
On August 20th, Cleveland Police Chief Calvin Williams called a press conference to announce the issuing of charge letters to the officers involved in the November 29, 2012 pursuit that left 2 people dead. Also in attendance was Mayor Frank Jackson and Public Safety Director Michael McGrath.
This morning, the Division of Police issued charge letters to 13 officers that were involved in the use of deadly force in the November 29, 2012 pursuit. Those officers have hearing dates scheduled with the Director of Public Safety in the near future, at which time we'll go through the process of giving them their date with the Director, where he'll hear evidence and testimony, and then shortly after that we'll make a decision on whether or not discipline is required in these cases.
It's a difficult time for everybody. No one wants to have this type of incident occur in their community. And then the question then becomes is how do you deal with it? How do you handle it? And we believe that we've handled it in a fair and appropriate manner. So it doesn't feel good to anybody, even the officers, the victims, families, us as public officials.
You know, if you look at police chases in the city of Cleveland, during my tenure and the mayor's tenure, we didn't have any chases that ended in a fatality or a shooting. This was the first one. And it's really changed the way we look at things now currently in the training, etc. But, you know, it's career changing. Not just career changing, you know, family changing, emotionally changing. It impacts not just myself, but the police department, the city, the community, the police officers. It's a real challenge.
The hearings start in September, and they will be held with the Director of Public Safety at a venue that he deems appropriate.
The investigative files have been presented to my office, and during the course of September I will conduct the disciplinary hearings for those officers relative to the charges that are recommended, and then I'll make a disposition as to, you know, after we have the complete hearing, as to how we're going to hold them either accountable or unaccountable for what transpired.
The possible consequences, if the officers are found guilty of the specifications within their charge letters, range from a written reprimand from the director up to and including termination.
Once the hearings are conducted and the determination as to whether or not someone is disciplined is made, then there are legal rights or collective bargaining rights to grieve the conclusions. And if there's a grievance, then those grievances go to an arbitrator. And those arbitrators then make a decision as to whether or not the decision by the director was correct or not. And if we disagree with the arbitrator, then we have a right to appeal to the Court of Appeals.
We're going to, have a process that's fair. We're going to have a process that's transparent and open. And we're going to make sure that the community knows that if officers violate policy, they will be held accountable. And for the officers to know that it's going to be a fair process for them.
Metro Health Hospital is about to start a $1.2 billion transformation, beginning with their critical care pavilion. The 85 rooms in it will be private for surgical and ICU and include 2 rooms specifically for disease containment, such as Ebola cases. To kick off the start of the project, community leaders and attendees were invited to sign a beam that will be used in the construction. It's a way to show how important and involved the community as a whole is.
This beam, this signing, this construction project isn't for an office tower. It's not for some other building. We're celebrating building the cornerstone of healthcare in Cleveland, Ohio. And Metro has always been at the forefront of that.
We are redesigning our system around customers' needs and concerns to lead the way to a healthier you and a healthier community. We want to offer care to patients when, how, and where they want it. So whether you come in, call in, or click in, every single citizen of Cuyahoga County and Cleveland will have accessible, effective, and efficient care.
It's just one more way that Metro is making its impact on the lives of Clevelanders. And for that, we are truly appreciative.
The Critical Care Pavilion is scheduled to be complete by July of next year.
After serving nearly 40 years in public service, formerly as Commissioner of Cleveland Hopkins International Airport, Fred Sabo has been sworn in as the new Acting Director of Port Control.
In closing, Mayor, I pledge to you my energy, my commitment, and focus as I accept this responsibility and look forward to building on these accomplishments under your guidance. Thank you.
Mayor Frank Jackson then administered the oath of office to Frank Williams as the new interim commissioner of the Division of Streets.
I just want to thank everybody for their confidence in me. I really care about the city, and I really care about making the city a better place and making those that put the confidence in me proud, and that they made a good decision in this process. I really look forward to working hard and moving things forward.
Bicyclists, walkers, and nature lovers rejoice. The first portion of the Cleveland Foundation Centennial Trail has opened. The trail is part of the Cleveland Metro Park's Cuyahoga Lake Link, a new network of trails and bridges that connect the river to the lake. Our own Dan Monroe was at the dedication and filed this report.
Come out and play. That's what the Cleveland Metro Parks are inviting you to do around the Cleveland area, and as a special incentive, they are proud to announce the completion of the first portion of the Cleveland Foundation Centennial Trail.
Why this is so significant is because we are actually at one of the parts in the break of the Cleveland Foundation Centennial Trail, which is a 1.3 mile trail that connects Scranton Road to Columbus currently, with the ultimate goal of going through Irishtown Bend, through the Stonebridge area, down to Willow Street, and then connecting to Wendy Park, the ultimate terminus of the trail, getting us to our Great Lake, Lake Erie, and then with the possibility of connecting at Hauser Way down to Edgewater Park.
A dedication was recently held by the trail, and among the many speakers were Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson and, visiting Cleveland for the first time ever, United States Secretary of the Interior, Sally Jewell.
Mayor, thank you so much for the welcome to your city, and I'm learning a lot about Cleveland, and congratulations for all of the things that you're doing to connect your community to public lands, to connect your community to Lake Erie, and to the Towpath Trail, and to the Cuyahoga Valley National Park.
This project is so important to Cleveland in many ways. One, as was mentioned, it does reclaim. It reclaims land, it reclaims assets in a way that those that land and those assets can be used by people in a way to help improve their quality of life. Another is important thing about this project, it connects people and it connects neighborhoods. And it connects them in a way that it really provides us to become one city. It's like a drawstring drawing us together, in that we use this asset in a way that really helps us to be one city.
Rob Thompson, Communications and Membership Manager for Bike Cleveland, couldn't be happier about the trail.
It's absolutely fantastic seeing the Lake Link, well now I suppose the Centennial Trail moving forward like this. I think it's a long overdue connection for especially residents in the neighborhood, low-income residents from the public housing, to have access to the lake and the lake and the river. So we're very excited about it.
As the Cleveland Metro Parks say, it is indeed time to come out and play.
The third annual Eagle Rowing Challenge with St. Ed's High School once again had school president James Kubacki competing against Vice President Greg Good on the Cuyahoga River, all to raise money for their growing rowing program. Cleveland City Council President Kevin Kelly and Ward 12 Councilman Anthony Braccatelli also took part in the friendly competition.
What did you think of the challenge today?
Well, the river was great. Looking at the fruits of people's labors, the public sector investment, the private sector investment, and the beauty of the river and all the people on the river, I think it was great. The competition itself ends a sad chapter in my life where after numerous competitions between Councilman Brancatelli and myself, Councilman Brancatelli seems to have gotten the best of me in this one. So I'll have to wait for the Progy run to even up again.
The race took place at the Foundry, a new $9 million project on the river, soon to open to the public, and the students had a chance to tour it before the big event. We asked the councilman what we can expect from this new facility.
It's going to be a public access point for the riverfront, and it's going to encourage rowing and use of the river for everybody from the city of Cleveland. As we're here for St. Ed's today, but we know St. Ignatius, St. Joseph Academy, and what might not be as well known is that there's a tremendous outreach to the Cleveland Public Schools to really get students in the Cleveland Municipal School District involved in rowing as well, because it's just a great sport, great teamwork, and it's just a beautiful way to spend a day. This is not the river it was 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. I mean, this is a beautiful asset. There's no reason for the residents of the city of Cleveland not to take advantage of this. We are really turning into an active outdoor community.
The oath of office was administered to the Cleveland Metropolitan School District's newly appointed members to the Board of Education, just in time for the new academic school year.
You've demonstrated as a board that you have met these challenges, you've dealt with them appropriately, and you've done the right thing, and as a result of what you've done as a board, we're much better off as a school district.
Our board continues to be truly the distinguishing example of what boards of education ought to be. So congratulations and welcome back.
Two veteran board members filled us in on what the main goals are for the upcoming school year.
We have some brilliant young people in our district. There are so many different challenges many of them face, a lot of social issues, and that prohibit them from actually making it to school. And so we know that when a child misses in excess of 10 days, the likelihood of them going to the next level, the next grade level, decreases significantly. And so now this major push, just go to school, you can make it. And that's really what we're trying to foster this year.
I think the main thing is a continuation of the Cleveland plan and continuing to improve graduation rate, education for all the children, third grade reading, across the board. We're just all systems go.
The members will serve a full term that will expire June 30th, 2019. When we return to the weekly news wrap-up, we'll check out what's new in our schools with CMSD TV reporter Shannon Cantner.
The first time you ride the RTA Rapid Downtown for the big game, you may wonder, how do I get through the turnstile? What if I do it wrong and the turnstile doesn't let me through? Then the person behind me will have to back up, and they'll know I'm an RTA rookie, and I'll make us all late. Will that somehow affect our team? Will I have set off a butterfly effect, causing us to lose the game, single-handedly blowing any chance we ever had to, I just slide my pass and walk through the turnstile, and that was easy, and I could get used to this. It's easier than you think, Cleveland. RTA, get ready to ride.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours.
Dr. King, what's your next move?
In March from Selma to Montgomery.
Selma is loud for every man, woman, and child.
We will not wait any longer.
In front of a crowd.
Mine eyes have seen the glory. Glory, glory, hallelujah.
The Great Lakes Science Center has a lot of cool and educational exhibits, but students at MC Squared STEM just had an out-of-this-world experience here, literally during a Skype video chat from space.
This is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
We are ready for the event.
Those are NASA astronauts Scott Kelly and Kjell Lindgren aboard the International Space Station, orbiting more than 200 miles over Earth.
We want to welcome everyone there and look forward to talking to you guys today.
Students asked the astronauts questions about space, including what the food's like there.
Our menu repeats itself like every week and a half, so the stuff we eat up here we see fairly often, so it sort of becomes a little bit routine, but this is some trail mix that is similar to what you could get in a grocery store. And here's some macaroni and cheese. I'm sure this would be a favorite of a lot of the kids in the room. Most of our food is not this good as this macaroni and cheese, though.
They also talked about their research and how they get around, so to speak.
Fortunately, here in the space station, we've got just about a surface to push on just about everywhere we are. So it's not too hard to get around. But when you're new, it takes some coordination, and so you end up running into the walls and knocking equipment off the walls sometimes. But we're getting better, and we're hoping that by the end of our expedition, we won't have broken anything in here.
He was flipping in there in the spaceship. I didn't expect him to do that, and it was pretty cool. I was surprised to see when they flipped that they didn't have any shoes on.
Shoes or no shoes, students learned a lot during the 20-minute video chat. In that time, the space station traveled nearly 6,000 miles around the Earth, and on the ground, astronaut Janet Kavandi answered questions in person.
1,200 hours of supersonic jet time.
When I was a kid, when I was very young, I used to sit at night and look at the stars with my dad, and we would talk about what it was like, what it would be like to be in space, what we would see from up there looking back down at the Earth.
She walked the students through a video of one of her missions when she helped build the International Space Station.
Those little seeds that we can plant at young ages really stick with us for years and can get us through those classes in school that maybe achieve our goals that we've set for ourselves. So set your goals very high and then really strive hard to meet them and don't give up.
That advice and the whole experience had a deep impact on many students. Now they're ready to reach for the stars.
In the beginning, I wasn't a big space person, but now I might go home and do research just because now I can. I know more stuff about it.
Yeah, I might want to be an astronaut now.
Hey, enjoyed talking to you guys, and and have a great rest of your day.
Well, in a few years, I think it's safe to say some of these students are going to be the ones answering questions on a video chat from space. Reporting from the Great Lakes Science Center, Shannon Kantner, CMSD TV.
Station, this is Houston ACR. Thank you. That concludes our event.
Audio communication.
You just spilled your drink.
And I just spilled my drink.
Thanks, Shannon. When we return to the weekly news wrap-up, we'll get an update on how our sports teams are doing with reporter Christian Patterson.
And I want it, and you got it so much. I'm crazy for your touch, your touch.
Give it back!
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Welcome back to TV20's Weekly News Wrap-Up. I'm Christian Patterson, and here's a look at what's going on in sports. The Cleveland Indians are proud to announce that the Latino Baseball Hall of Fame will be inducting Omar Vizquel into the Hall in an Indians uniform for its 2016 induction class. Vizquel was an 11-time Gold Glove Award winner at shortstop, 3-time All-Star, and played 24 Major League seasons. He played 2,968 career games, more than any player born outside the USA. Congratulations to Omar Vizquel, a true pioneer for the baseball community. And recently, the Indians have started to heat up, but hopefully it's not too late. Right now, the Indians are tied with Detroit for 4th place in the AL Central, and they're only 5 games out of 2nd place. I'll continue to keep you updated with the latest on the Indians and their chances of making a wild card run if possible. Cleveland Browns fans got a small glimpse of Johnny Manziel in 2 preseason games, but that might be all they get this preseason. According to a report from ESPNCleveland.com, Manziel will be shut down and may not play for the remainder of the Browns preseason. Elbow soreness and fatigue are major issues for a quarterback, and the Browns are certainly concerned with Manziel's injury. So for now, the Browns announced that they reached an agreement to sign quarterback Pat Devlin to provide depth behind Josh McCown with injuries mounting at that position. Maybe the Browns should give Terrell Pryor a shot behind center since he already has experience at the position and he's already on the roster. Hey, it couldn't hurt, especially during the preseason. The Cleveland Cavaliers continue to add depth to their already deep roster in hope of not being in the same position they were in a year ago. Not enough bodies in the playoffs. Their latest roster addition happens to be Russian big man Sasha Khan, who signed a 2-year contract. The Cavs acquired Khan's draft rights in 2008 after the Seattle Supersonics selected him in the 2nd round. Khan already has a strong relationship with Cavaliers head coach David Blatt and center Timothy Mozgov from his time on the Russian national team. Khan will be entering the NBA for the first time, coming off his best year of his professional career in Russia, where he posted 17.8 points and 8 rebounds per game. And if it's one person who can't wait for basketball season to start, it's LeBron James. James made a recent post on Instagram stating, "Man, I can't wait to get back on the floor again with you two guys. Last year was just a sample size of what we're capable of, and I'm so hyped thinking about what's next." He then tagged Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, and hashtag King, Uncle Drew, Menace, and the Land. Sounds like they're all in. The Glenville Division of Recreation baseball program received a very generous donation from a Glenville alumni who's dedicated to giving back to the youth in any way possible.
Dr. and Mrs. Dr. Reeves, right, donated. Can I give them? Just an amount that was matched. Yeah, amount that was matched to the Glenville Recreation Center. It was a generous gift, and it was matched by the company that Dr. Reeves now works for.
The donation made by Dr. and Mrs. Reeves allowed the City of Cleveland Division of Recreation to provide uniforms for the youth of the Glenville baseball program, from T-ball all the way up to the Connie Mack team. Now, Dr. and Mrs. Reeves are committed to providing the funds for the Glenville baseball program's uniforms for 2 years. They've also promised to deliver a new batting cage for the Glenville Recreation Center.
It is my pleasure to offer this certificate of recognition to Drs. Donald and Deborah Reeves for their generous donation to Glenville Recreation Center's Little League baseball teams. I would like to commend the Reeves for their commitment to revitalizing inner-city baseball, particularly here in Cleveland. This generous donation will ensure that children in the Glenville neighborhood will truly understand baseball as America's pastime and enjoy it for the great and glorious game that it is. I invite all citizens to join me in thanking Drs. Donald and Deborah Reeves for this contribution to the Cleveland community and wishing them continued success. It's presented today, August 20th, 2015. Frank G. Jackson, Mayor, City of Cleveland.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Really appreciate that.
And the youth of the Glenville baseball program showed their appreciation to the Reeves family as well.
Today, we're going to present you the Little F Baseball Championship tape from our little team. We're also going to present you our Big F and Little F trophies from the championship game, and a board where we all signed our names. Well, it's closed now, but where we all signed our names. We'd like to, on behalf of Glenville, we'd like to thank you for your contributions.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Deborah and I are really blessed to be in the position to provide whatever little assistance we were able to provide, and to make sure that the youth in this community have an opportunity to play baseball and to do a lot of other things. As Carolyn said, we grew up here. I played baseball here, and to see it being played again at this level and in this venue in just a wonderful setting, this is tremendous. And that we can help, we really appreciate it. We thank you very much for the recognition, and we hope that we can continue to provide additional support.
Make sure you tune in to TV20 all this week to catch the City Hall Classic softball game, where the mayor's administration will be taking on Cleveland City Council. Here's a sneak peek of some highlights from the softball classic. Well, that's all I have for your TV20 Weekly Sports Wrap-Up. When we return from break, we'll have more with Leah.
Hi, this is Don Voitella inviting you to watch the Polka Train right here on TV20.
Welcome back to TV20's Weekly News Wrap-Up. Back to school is an exciting time of year. Kids are embarking on a new journey in life, and parents are helping them prepare for what's ahead. For most kids, a fresh haircut is on the list of essentials of what they need to begin school. Thanks to Cleveland radio personality Sam Silk and the Hone Barber College, kids received free haircuts for the first day of school. Here's reporter Christian Patterson with more.
Today's event was an initiative initially started by Sam Silk, and then the Home Barber College was invited to join. It's called The Brothers, and what it is an initiative for back-to-school haircuts for the young men going back to school. There's so many negative images in social media, on TV that our young men get to see, specifically of minority men, that we wanted to do something to put all the greatest barbers together from the city of Cleveland, also Home Barber School graduates in one room, all entrepreneurs, business owners, shop owners, and mentor to these young men. Not just to give them a haircut, it's way more than just a haircut. We wanted to mentor to these young men to get a positive image into their minds before they go into their school year. We're also giving away free food today, as well as free school supplies. So we just wanted these young guys to go into school on a positive note.
And my kids are going back to school Tuesday and Friday in the Cleveland schools. They both go to Mound. So my mother told me if I didn't take some nice pictures on the first day of school, she was going to hunt me down. I'm a single mom. I can't afford $15, $20 a haircut.
The first day of school can cause some anxious moments for students, but having a clear head and a fresh haircut can make the difference.
When you go in there with a fresh haircut, it's like all the other worries go away, you know what I'm saying? Because it starts with that. I mean, you can't get an interview in life without a haircut. You can't, you know what I'm saying? Get married, you can't do photo shoots, can't do pictures, anything. So, you know, it all starts with haircut.
I would like these young kids to see positive men and women, because we do have female barbers here as well, doing something great in the community. We're giving back something absolutely free. Even some people even tried to offer us tips. We don't even want the tips. You know, this event has to be an organic, absolutely free initiative.
Although this was the first year this event was held at Home Barber College, owner Angela Rice seems excited for the future.
This was the pilot program. I guess that's what you want to call it. It was brand new to me. Last minute, no preparation, but it turned out well. And I'm just going to say I believe it was because of the radio personality, Mr. Sam Silk.
After having served the past 21 years in public service, most recently for the city's Department of Economic Development, Anthony Thornton has retired. To thank him, Mayor Frank Jackson presented him with a proclamation for his years of service. We asked Mr. Thornton what it is like to be in public service.
You know, it's a lot of hard work. You have to really care about the people of the city of Cleveland and take care of them. And I believe that, you know, if we take care of this generation and the past generation, that we as a city will do well.
This is Councilman TJ Dow. We are in the beautiful Ward 7. It's a nice day. We are actually in the unity in the community. The EMS Rams, the football team, has put together this event. Him and his team, Haywood Prude.
EMS Rams has been in the Ward 7 Huff, St. Clair Superior neighborhood since March of 2002. We started out with traditional sports of football, but since that time, we've traveled all across the country and tried to forge ahead with the position to make sports more than just what it is. You know, we're an organization that's focusing on education, the developing and mentoring of young men and young ladies in our community.
And it's all about community. It's all about family. You know, you see a lot of folks out here. It's always a blessing to come out and just see families together, kids playing and happy and smiling.
Today's event, Unity in the Community, is designed to bring youth together in a show of solidarity against the violence that's going on in our city. As we know it, the city of Cleveland is plagued with violence, not just with the young people, just people in general. And so this event today is designed to take a stance against violence. Also, this is another platform that we're using to get organizations to work together. One of the things that we don't see in our city is a collaborative effort from all the wonderful things that are going on. I just truly believe that if we begin to work together, we can solve some of the strongholds that are taking place in our city.
People from all over filled the streets of Little Italy for the 117th annual Feast of the Assumption. Guests took part in the Holy Mass and Parade, celebrating the Assumption of the Virgin Mary. And of course, enjoy delicious, authentic Italian food and desserts from local restaurants. Oh my gosh, after that, I could go for some spaghetti right now. If you'd like to see more of these stories in their entirety, tune in to TV20's Around Town and just check our schedule for times. That's all for your TV20 Weekly News Wrap-Up. I'm Leah Haslage. Thanks for watching. Now stay tuned for the bottom line up front with City of Cleveland Media Relations Director Dan Williams.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late,
she doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice. She's new. Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened? Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi.
You mean you were driving?
Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.